halls of Zithron Palace were made of shining crystal and silver lights. The alien servants moved silently, their feet never touching the ground. Everything looked perfect, clean, bright, and still. Everything, except for one sound. A soft human humming echoed through the corridors. The sound didn't belong there. The palace had never known music like that, gentle, warm, and alive. It came from a man in an old blue uniform, holding a mop in one hand and a small music player in the other. His name was Ethan Cole, Earthborn janitor, age 32. He had been hired to clean the lowest decks of the palace. No one noticed him much, and that suited him fine. He liked quiet. He liked working alone. And when he worked, he hummed old Earth tunes, soft melodies his mother used to sing while washing clothes back home. That sound, unknown to anyone else, drifted upward through air vents and glowing pipes, reaching far beyond where Ethan thought it could go. It reached her. High above, in the royal tower where no one entered without permission, Princess Lyra of Zithron lay awake in her bed. Her skin shimmered like moonlight. Her long white hair glowed faintly in the dark. For months, her healers had failed to cure her sleeping sickness. Every night she tossed and turned, her eyes heavy but her mind restless. The palace lights dimmed for her, but silence only made it worse. Until the night she heard that voice. A strange, soothing hum slipped through the air vents and wrapped around her mind like a blanket. It was soft, human, full of something she had never known. Comfort. Her breathing slowed. Her eyes closed. For the first time in years, she slept peacefully. The next morning, the healers were amazed. "Her vitals are stable," one whispered. "Her energy balance has returned." But when they tried to study the reason, they found nothing in her chamber except air. And silence. Down below, Ethan finished mopping the marble floor. He smiled to himself. He didn't know why, but tonight felt good, peaceful, like someone somewhere was listening. "Hey, human," called a voice behind him. Ethan turned. It was Tirkal, a tall guard with scaled skin and 4 glowing eyes. "You shouldn't hum in royal areas. This is sacred ground." Ethan chuckled nervously. "Sorry, just a habit. Helps me focus." "Focus quietly." The guard grunted and walked off. But the moment the guard was gone, Ethan smiled and started humming again. Quieter this time, but still with feeling. His voice filled the empty halls like sunlight through clouds. That night, Princess Lyra slept again. And again, the healers couldn't explain it. Soon, the rumor spread. The princess sleeps when the halls sing. The queen ordered guards to find the source of the strange sound. "If it is a spirit," she said, "capture it. If it is a spy, eliminate it." So the guards began searching, listening for any sign of music. One evening, while Ethan cleaned near the royal elevator, he noticed 2 guards moving carefully, their ears twitching. He stopped humming and pretended to scrub the floor. When they left, he leaned against his mop and sighed. "Strange people," he muttered. "Can't even enjoy a tune." But he didn't know that on the other side of the palace, Princess Lyra had opened her eyes suddenly. The humming had stopped. Her heart raced, her head pounded. She sat up and whispered, "Where? Did it go?" She stood, trembling, and called her maid. "Find the sound. The one that sings in the night." "The sound, Your Highness?" the maid asked, confused. "Yes," Lyra said, her silver eyes glowing faintly. "It heals me." For the next few nights, Ethan worked in silence. The halls felt empty now, lifeless. He didn't understand why, but cleaning didn't feel right without his tunes. On the 4th night after the guards left, he couldn't help himself. He started to hum again, very softly this time. The melody rose through the air once more, and in her tower, Princess Lyra smiled in her sleep. The next morning, the royal scientists checked her readings again. Perfect stability. It only happens when sound waves of human origin reach her chamber. "What kind of sound waves?" asked the royal advisor. "Low-frequency vibrations," one scientist said slowly. "Like humming," the queen frowned. "A human?" she whispered. "Impossible. No human has such effect on a Zithron mind." But deep inside, Princess Lyra already knew. Her heart whispered the truth. It's him. That night, she made a decision. She ordered her personal guard. "Bring me every human worker in the palace. All of them." The guard hesitated. "Your Highness, that's over 200 individuals." "Do it," she said. I will recognize the one. And while the guards prepared, Ethan cleaned the same endless corridor, still humming softly, unaware that his voice, his simple, human habit, had changed the course of an empire. The grand hall of Zitharon Palace glowed with blue crystal lights. Hundreds of humans stood in a straight line. Workers, guards, engineers, and janitors. They looked nervous. None of them knew why they had been called. Princess Lyra sat on her silver throne, her eyes calm but sharp. Her crown shimmered like starlight, and her long white hair flowed over her shoulders. Around her stood her mother, Queen Zyra, and the royal guards. Begin, Lyra said softly. The first human was brought forward. Speak, she ordered. The man gulped. Hello, Your Highness? She closed her eyes. Nothing. No, she said quietly. Next, one by one, each human spoke. Some bowed deeply, some mumbled in fear, others tried to be polite, but none carried the sound she sought. The sound that made her heart still and her dreams peaceful. After the 50th worker, she leaned back, frustrated. None, she whispered. The queen frowned. My daughter, perhaps this is only in your imagination. No, Lyra said firmly. The voice is real. I can feel it. It saved me. Far away in the servant wing, Ethan Cole had no idea what was happening. He was busy fixing a broken mop. His friend Mira, another human cleaner, ran in. Ethan, the princess ordered every human to report to the throne room. He blinked. Why? She's looking for someone. They say she's been sick and now she's awake because of some kind of sound. Ethan chuckled. A sound? Like what? Mira shrugged. No one knows. Maybe music or something. Ethan smiled and shook his head. Well, I'll go after I finish this floor. Can't leave a mess behind. In the throne room, Lyra's patience was fading. How many remain? She asked. 102, Your Highness, replied the guard. She sighed. Her heart felt heavy. Maybe she had been dreaming. Maybe the sound was just a trick of her tired mind. But then she heard footsteps. A man entered, holding a mop and a cleaning bucket. He looked simple, humble, brown hair, worn uniform, kind eyes. He bowed awkwardly. Ma'am, sorry for being late. I didn't know we were supposed to. The sound of his voice hit her like light through darkness. Her heart skipped. Her breath stopped. It was him. The hall fell silent. Even the queen noticed her daughter's expression change. Lyra? She asked quietly, but Lyra didn't hear her. She rose slowly from her seat and took a step forward. Say that again, she whispered. Ethan blinked, confused. I said I'm sorry, Your Highness. Her eyes shimmered with tears. It's you, she whispered. Ethan froze. Me? Did I do something wrong? The guard stepped closer, ready to grab him, but the princess lifted her hand. No one touches him. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then the queen stood. Lyra, what is the meaning of this? Lyra turned to her mother. That voice, Mother. It's the same one I hear every night. The one that lets me sleep. The hall filled with murmurs. Some aliens looked disgusted, others curious. A few scientists whispered to each other, recording everything. The queen's eyes narrowed. You mean this human janitor is the source of your healing? Yes, Lyra said softly. When he hums, my mind is calm. My dreams are quiet. Ethan raised a hand nervously. Your Majesty, I didn't mean to cause trouble. I just hum while I clean. Old habit, Lyra smiled faintly. That habit saved me. After a tense silence, the queen spoke coldly. Then you will continue to hum, human. For the good of the Empire. Ethan blinked. You want me to sing? Not sing, Lyra corrected gently. Just be near. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. Well, I guess I can do that. As long as I still get to keep my job. That made the princess laugh softly, a sound no one had heard in years. The queen's expression softened for the first time. Very well. Assign him to the royal chambers. He will clean under supervision. Later that night, Ethan stood awkwardly in the royal tower. The walls glowed with soft silver light. He could hardly believe where he was. Princess Lyra sat by her window looking at the stars. You may start your work, she said quietly. Ethan nodded, picked up his mop, and began to clean the marble floor. After a few minutes, he started to hum, soft, low, like the rhythm of a heartbeat. The sound filled the room, gentle and warm. Lyra closed her eyes. The tension left her body. Her breathing slowed. It was like the sound carried her away to a peaceful dream. Hours passed. When Ethan turned around, she was asleep. Truly asleep, a faint smile on her face. He stood there quietly, unsure what to do. He didn't want to wake her, so he just kept cleaning, his song fading softly into the night. Outside the tower, the guards whispered to each other. "She sleeps again," one said. "It's the human," another replied. His voice carries strange power. And somewhere deep in the palace labs, alien scientists began studying sound waves from his work logs. "What makes his voice different?" one murmured. "It shouldn't be possible." The next morning, Lyra awoke to sunlight for the first time in months. She looked around, smiling softly. "Good morning," she said. Ethan, standing by the door, smiled back. "Morning, Your Highness slept well?" "Yes," she whispered. Better than ever. Her silver eyes met his. And for a brief second, she felt something even the stars couldn't explain. Something purely human. The palace buzzed with whispers. The news had spread like fire. The human's voice healed the princess. Some called it a miracle. Others called it a mistake. And many didn't believe it at all. In the royal laboratory, alien scientists in silver robes gathered around glowing screens. They studied recordings of Ethan's humming, waves of gentle vibration moving across their hollow displays. One scientist frowned. "It makes no sense. These are ordinary sound frequencies." Another added, "Ordinary, yet the princess reacts as if they were medicine." "Could emotion be the missing element?" one asked. "Emotion?" The leader scoffed. "Humans are primitive. They don't control emotional resonance the way Zitherons do." But then the doors slid open and the princess herself entered. Every scientist bowed instantly. "Continue," Lyra said calmly. Her silver eyes studied the screens. "Have you found why his voice helps me sleep?" The head researcher cleared his throat. "We believe the sound carries organic emotion, warmth, empathy. Your mind responds to it unconsciously." Lyra tilted her head. "Emotion? From a human janitor?" "Yes, Your Highness. Humans express feelings through tone. They are not like us. When he hums, he shares a kind of living energy." Lyra smiled faintly. "I know. I can feel it," the scientist hesitated. "If Your Highness allows, we would like to study him directly, under controlled conditions." Lyra paused. "You will not harm him?" "Of course not," the scientist said quickly. "Only observation." Later that evening, Ethan was escorted to the royal lab. He looked around nervously. At glowing machines, humming pods, and tall aliens with strange instruments. Am I in trouble?" he asked quietly. Princess Lyra stood nearby, her presence calm and graceful. "No, Ethan, we just want to understand how your humming works." He rubbed his neck. "Honestly, I don't even understand it myself. I just hum what feels right. That's what makes it special," she said softly. "Please sit." He sat on a glowing chair while several sensors attached to his chest and throat. "This won't hurt, right?" The lead scientist replied, "No pain, just analysis." They asked him to hum softly. He closed his eyes and began, the same melody he had used while cleaning the halls. Simple, low, full of warmth. Machines beeped. Light waves danced on the screen. Every alien in the room froze. "This frequency?" one whispered. "It's shifting with his heart rate," another said. "No, it's not random," the lead scientist said slowly. "It's reacting to emotion. His feelings control the pattern." Princess Lyra stepped closer, fascinated. "What emotion do you feel now?" she asked. Ethan smiled softly. "Peace, I guess, like I'm helping someone." Her chest tightened. That gentle answer felt warmer than any royal gift she'd ever received. After a few minutes, they told him to stop. Ethan opened his eyes, blinking. "So, did I pass the test?" The lead scientist looked both amazed and troubled. "You didn't just pass. You created a frequency that interacts with Zitheron neurofields. No human should be able to do that," Ethan frowned. "I don't understand." "It means," said Lyra, stepping forward, "your voice connects to my mind. Maybe even my soul." He laughed lightly. "That sounds too magical for me, Your Highness. I'm just a janitor." Her smile softened. "And yet you do what no healer could." After the tests, Ethan was allowed to leave. But that night, as he walked through the halls, something strange happened. Every alien he passed looked at him differently, some with awe, some with fear. Whispers followed him. "That's the one. The voice human. He sings and the princess sleeps." He tried to ignore them. He was used to being invisible, not famous. But deep down he felt something uneasy. He hadn't asked for attention. He just wanted to work and stay out of trouble. Meanwhile, in her chamber, Princess Lyra couldn't sleep. Not because of her sickness, but because she was thinking about him. The way he spoke humbly, the warmth behind his smile, the calm strength in his voice. She had met countless noblemen, warriors, and scholars, yet none carried the quiet peace that this simple human did. She walked to her window, looking at the stars. How can someone so ordinary, she whispered, feel so bright? The next day the queen summoned her. Lyra, she said sternly, your scientists report strange results. This human's power is unnatural. It could be dangerous. It's not power, mother, Lyra replied. It's kindness. The queen's expression hardened. Kindness is weakness. You cannot let emotion rule you. Lyra bowed her head. Then perhaps weakness is what saves us. The queen turned away. Keep your distance from him. I will not allow a human to distract the royal heir. Lyra said nothing, but in her heart she already knew she would not obey. That night, as Ethan prepared to clean the royal tower again, he found her waiting by the window. You're early, Your Highness, he said. She smiled softly. I wanted to hear you before sleep. He chuckled. You really like my songs that much? It's not just your songs, she whispered. It's you. Ethan froze, unsure what to say. Me? But I'm a human, she said, finishing his sentence. Yes, and yet your heart is louder than any alien song. For the first time, Ethan saw something in her eyes. Not just gratitude, but something deeper. Something dangerous. Connection. Outside the chamber, a hidden guard listened to every word. He whispered into his communicator, Report to the queen. The princess has grown, attached to the human. For the first time in years, the Zitharon palace felt alive. Princess Lyra smiled more, spoke softly to her people, and walked the gardens again. Wherever she went, her glow returned, brighter and warmer than before. But not everyone was happy about it. The queen watched silently from her throne, her golden eyes cold and sharp. She smiles because of him, she said to her council. The human janitor, a royal advisor, bowed. Your Majesty, perhaps his presence truly helps her health. Should we not let it continue? The queen's voice turned hard. He is not healing her. He is changing her. And that I will not allow. Meanwhile, Ethan was back at work in the royal tower, polishing the floor under the giant glass dome. The stars above glimmered faintly. He hummed softly, the same tune as always. Princess Lyra stood by the window, listening with closed eyes. You know, she said quietly, the stars seem to hum with you now. Ethan chuckled. Maybe they're just copying my style. She laughed, covering her mouth gently. No one dares joke with me like that. Well, he said, smiling, maybe no one else sees you as just a person. Her laughter faded. You don't fear me, should I? He asked. She looked at him for a long moment. Most do. Then they don't really know you, he replied softly. Their eyes met, human brown and alien silver. For a moment the world outside didn't exist. That night, while Lyra slept peacefully, the queen met secretly with her high commander. This human, she said coldly, is influencing her emotions. It's dangerous. What do you command, my queen? Test him, push him. If he is truly harmless, he will not break. If he hides power, we will expose it. The commander bowed. As you wish. The next morning, Ethan was summoned to the training arena, a large, circular room filled with glowing symbols and floating drones. A Zitharon soldier waited for him, tall, armored, and clearly unhappy. Human, the soldier said. The queen wishes to test your reflexes. Ethan frowned. Reflexes? I'm a janitor, not a fighter. The soldier smiled coldly. Then this will be quick. Without warning, the soldier fired a low-energy pulse. It missed Ethan by inches, burning the floor beside him. Hey, Ethan shouted. What was that for? Move, human! The soldier barked. Another pulse came, faster this time. Ethan ducked, heart pounding. He grabbed the nearest thing, his mop. Not a weapon, but the only thing he had. In the royal tower, Princess Lyra suddenly sat upright, gasping. Something in her heart twisted, fear. She could feel Ethan's pulse racing through the strange connection between them. She ran out of her chamber, calling, Guards, where is the human? No one answered. Back in the arena, Ethan stumbled backward, breathing hard. "Stop," he yelled. "I didn't do anything wrong." The soldier sneered. "We will see how long you keep that voice when faced with fear." The next blast struck his side. Not enough to kill, but enough to hurt. Ethan groaned, gripping his mop tighter. Then, through the pain, he did the only thing his instincts knew. He started humming. The sound echoed through the arena. Low, steady, pure. The same melody that calmed storms in Lyra's heart. The soldier froze. The glowing lights flickered. Even the drones paused mid-air, as if the sound reached something deep inside their energy cores. Ethan didn't know why, but he kept humming. Louder now. The pain faded. The soldier's weapon trembled in his hands. "What is that?" The soldier whispered, his voice shaking. The queen, watching through a screen, narrowed her eyes. "Interesting," she said. "He truly carries something unnatural." Then the doors burst open. Princess Lyra entered, her guards behind her. "Stop this at once," she commanded. Everyone fell silent. Ethan stopped humming, panting heavily. Lyra ran to him and touched his arm. "Are you hurt?" "I'm fine," he said quietly. "Just confused." She turned to the Queen's hologram. "Mother, why would you do this?" The Queen's expression remained cold. "To protect you. His voice has power. Power that no human should possess. If it controls you, it could destroy you." Lyra shook her head. "It doesn't control me. It frees me." "Then you are blind," the Queen said sharply. "And I will not allow this bond to continue." Guards moved closer. Ethan stood between them and the princess. "Wait," he said firmly. "Don't hurt her. I'll leave the palace if that's what you want." Lyra turned to him in shock. "You can't." "I can," he said softly. "If it keeps you safe." The Queen hesitated, watching the human's calm face. He showed no anger, no rebellion, only care. That confused her more than anything. "Very well," she said finally. "He will be removed from the royal sector. Effective immediately." "Mother!" Lyra cried, but the guard stepped forward. Ethan gave her a faint smile. "It's okay, Your Highness. You'll sleep fine. You always do when you're strong." Then he was taken away. That night Lyra sat alone in her room. The silence pressed against her chest like ice. She tried to sleep, but the world was empty without that gentle voice. Her mind screamed. Her heart ached. The air itself felt wrong. Tears fell silently down her cheeks as she whispered, "Ethan." And far below, in the cold workers' quarters, Ethan stared at the ceiling, unable to rest. He didn't hum that night. He just listened to the same silence, and wondered if she was awake, missing him too. The palace had never been so quiet. Days passed since Ethan was sent away from the royal tower. The guards had locked him in the workers' sector, far from the princess. No music echoed through the shining halls now. No hum, no warmth. Only cold silence. And with that silence, Princess Lyra began to fade again. In her chamber, the silver lights dimmed. Her skin lost its glow. Her breaths came short and heavy. The healers worked endlessly. Energy injections, dream medicine, starlight therapy. Nothing worked. The Queen stood beside her bed, trying not to show fear. "Why is she weakening again?" she demanded. One healer bowed low. "Your Majesty, it started the night the human left." The Queen's expression darkened. "So it was him." Another healer spoke carefully. "Forgive me, but perhaps we should—" "Enough!" the Queen shouted. "No human magic controls my daughter's health. There must be another reason." But in her heart, even the Queen began to doubt her own words. Far below, Ethan sat in the cleaning room, staring at his mop. The same bucket, the same uniform, but nothing felt the same. He couldn't stop thinking about her. Her smile, her voice, the way she listened when no one else did. He tried to work, but the silence hurt more than exhaustion. Mira, his friend, looked at him. "You've barely spoken, Ethan. What happened up there?" He sighed. "They think I'm dangerous. The Queen banned me from seeing her." Mira frowned. "And you just accepted that?" He smiled sadly. "It's better this way. I don't want to cause her more trouble." "But you care about her," Mira said quietly. Ethan looked down. Too much, maybe. That night he couldn't sleep. He stared at the dull metal ceiling, hearing the faint hum of machines. He whispered to himself, "If she can't sleep, she must be suffering." Something inside him couldn't stay still anymore. He stood up, grabbed his mop handle like a walking stick, and walked out of the room. In the royal tower, Princess Lyra's condition worsened. Her heartbeat slowed. Her eyes flickered faintly like dying stars. The queen held her hand tightly. "Stay with me, my child, stay." Lyra's voice was weak, barely a whisper. "Mother, I can't hear him." The queen froze. "Who?" "Ethan," Lyra breathed. "The human." The sound keeps me alive. The queen's chest tightened. For a long moment she said nothing. Then she whispered to the nearest guard, "Find him." At that very moment alarms began to ring through the lower halls. Ethan had slipped through the maintenance tunnels, heading straight toward the tower. The guards saw him on their scanners and shouted, "Human detected near the energy core. Stop him!" But Ethan didn't care anymore. He ran through the corridors, his breath ragged, his heart burning with one thought. She needs me. Upstairs, the healers panicked as Lyra's vitals fell lower and lower. "She's slipping away," one cried. The queen clenched her fists.
"Hold her stable!"
Lyra's silver eyes fluttered open one last time. She whispered, "Mother, please. Let him sing," and then her hand fell still. At that exact second, the doors burst open. Ethan ran into the chamber, surrounded by guards. "Let me through," he shouted. The queen turned in fury. "How dare you?" But Lyra's still face stopped her. Ethan dropped to his knees beside her. "Lyra," he cried softly, "please listen to me." "I'm here." He didn't wait for permission. He began to hum. Low and trembling at first, then stronger. The sound spread like a ripple through the air. Machines flickered. The glowing crystals hummed in response, and then her fingers moved. The healers gasped. Her heartbeat returned, slow but steady. Color flowed back into her skin. Her breathing deepened. Ethan's humming grew gentler, full of care and hope. Tears rolled down his face as he whispered between hums, "Don't leave me now. You're not alone." The queen watched in stunned silence. The guards lowered their weapons, unsure what to believe. Then Lyra's eyes opened, silver alive, shining with tears. "Ethan," she whispered. He smiled weakly. "Hey, missed your bedtime song, huh?" She let out a shaky laugh. "You came back." "Couldn't stay away," he said softly. "You'd fire me for bad attendance." Even the healers smiled through their shock. The queen slowly stepped forward. How did you do this?" Ethan looked up at her. "I didn't. It's not power or science. It's just care. Maybe your people forgot what that sounds like." The queen's lips trembled slightly, but she said nothing. Princess Lyra sat up weakly, holding Ethan's hand. "Mother, please. Don't send him away again." The queen stared at them both, human and alien. Two beings from different worlds, yet connected by something far beyond logic. Finally, she said quietly, "Leave us. All of you." The healers and guards exited the room. Only the three remained. Mother, daughter, and the human who changed everything. The queen looked at Ethan. "You risked your life to reach her." "Why?" Ethan hesitated. "Because she matters to me. She's not just a princess, she's someone who listens, someone who feels. I couldn't stand doing nothing." For a long moment, the queen said nothing. Then slowly she sighed. "Perhaps I was wrong about you." She looked at her daughter. "If this bond truly gives you life, then so be it. But be warned, Lyra. Others will not accept this easily." "I don't care," Lyra whispered, holding Ethan's hand tighter. The queen nodded once. "Then you will need strength, both of you." As the queen left, the room fell silent again. But this time, it was not a painful silence. It was the calm before a storm that neither of them yet saw coming. Ethan looked at Lyra. "You scared me," he said softly. She smiled weakly. "And you broke the rules for me." He laughed. "Guess we're even." She leaned closer, resting her head on his shoulder. "Don't leave me again," he whispered. "Never." Outside the window, the stars shimmered, and then for a moment, it felt like even the universe was listening to the human song that saved a princess. For the first time in weeks, Princess Lyra walked through the royal gardens again. The light of Zitharon's twin suns touched her pale skin, bringing color back to her cheeks. Flowers that once withered bloomed as she passed. And by her side, quietly, humbly, walked Ethan Cole, the human janitor who had changed the fate of a kingdom. He no longer carried a mop. Now he carried something far heavier. Hope. Everywhere they went, people whispered, "That's him. The human who healed the princess. His voice saved her life. The queen allows it? Impossible. The palace servants watched with mixed hearts. Some smiled softly, grateful that the princess lived. Others looked with envy or fear. And in the shadows, soldiers of the High Council whispered even darker words. That night, while the queen sat in her chamber, her most trusted advisor arrived. Your Majesty, he said carefully, the council demands answers. They say the human's influence threatens royal purity. The queen's expression stayed calm. My daughter lives because of him. That is answer enough. They will not see it that way, he warned. They believe the human uses forbidden resonance mind control. The queen frowned. I've seen his heart. There is no deception there. The advisor bowed low. Then they will come for him. Soon. In her tower, Lyra watched the stars through her crystal window. Ethan sat nearby, tuning a small alien instrument that looked like a glowing guitar. Didn't know your people had music, he said with a smile. We don't, she said softly. Not like you. We use sound for science for control, but not for feeling. He strummed the strings. A strange soft note filled the air. Then maybe it's time that changed, she smiled, watching him. You make it sound so simple, he shrugged. Music doesn't ask permission. It just happens. Their laughter echoed through the tower, warm and human. But outside, soldiers listened from the shadows, sending silent messages through their comms. The next morning, everything changed. The royal alarms blared through the palace. Dozens of armored guards surrounded the tower. Ethan jumped to his feet. What's happening? Lyra's eyes widened. No, they're here for you. The door burst open and the council envoy entered, tall, four-eyed, and furious. By order of the Zithron High Council, he shouted. The human known as Ethan Cole is to be detained for investigation. Investigation? Lyra stepped forward. On what grounds? On the grounds of corruption, the envoy said coldly. His sound waves may be controlling royal emotion. He may be a weapon. Ethan shook his head. That's insane. I've never heard anyone. Silence, human, the envoy snapped. But before the guards could take another step, Lyra's voice thundered through the chamber. Powerful, commanding, royal. Touch him, and I will have you thrown from this palace. The guards froze. The envoy glared. Your Highness, please, you think I cannot see through your lies? She said, you fear what you do not understand. My life was saved, not stolen. Her words rang like thunder. But still the envoy didn't move. Then you defy the council's will? I defy their ignorance, she replied. Ethan took her hand gently. Lyra, don't, you'll make it worse, she turned to him. They'll take you away. I can't let that happen. He smiled softly. If it keeps you safe, I can handle it, her voice broke. But you already saved me. The queen arrived at that moment, her long robe sweeping the floor. Enough, she said. Everyone bowed instantly. Mother, Lyra cried. They're trying to arrest him. The queen looked from her daughter to the human. Her eyes were calm, but her heart was not. I warned you both, she said softly. The council will not stop until they have control. Ethan bowed. Your Majesty, I'll go peacefully. Please, don't let them hurt her. The queen's gaze softened. You would sacrifice yourself again? He nodded. It's what humans do for those they care about. That answer silenced the entire room. Even the envoy looked uncertain. The queen finally spoke. He will not be taken to the council. The envoy frowned. You cannot overrule them, Your Majesty. The queen's eyes glowed. I can. And I just did. She turned to Ethan. You will remain under protection as in my custody. No one touches you without my command. Lyra ran forward and hugged her mother tightly. Thank you. But the queen whispered, this peace will not last. Prepare yourselves. That night, as the palace slept uneasily, Ethan stood on the balcony looking at the stars. Lyra joined him, her hair shining in the starlight. You could have run, she said softly. He smiled. And leave you behind? Not a chance. She gazed at him, the man who had risked everything for her. You don't belong in chains, Ethan. He looked at her and said quietly, neither do you. For a long time they just stood there. Two souls from different worlds, bound by something stronger than fear. Then Ethan began to hum again, gentle, slow, full of feeling. The stars shimmered brighter with every note. Lyra leaned against him, closing her eyes. This sound, she whispered, it feels like freedom. But deep beneath the palace, in the council's hidden chambers, the envoy bowed before a shadowed figure. "Your Grace," he said. "The Queen protects the human." "What are your orders?" A low, cold voice replied. "Then we remove both the human and the princess who defies her blood." The night sky over Zitharon burned red. Ships hovered above the royal palace, their engines glowing like fire. The High Council had come, not to talk but to take. From the tower balcony, Ethan watched in silence. "They're here," he said quietly. Beside him, Princess Lyra's silver eyes reflected the flames. "They mean to destroy you. And me." He looked at her calmly. "Then we face them together." She turned to him. "You don't have to do this, Ethan." He smiled softly. "Maybe not, but I choose to." Inside the throne hall, the Queen stood tall before the council envoy. "You invade my home with warships?" she said coldly. The envoy bowed slightly, pretending respect. "We come to protect the Empire. The human's presence is spreading chaos. Even now, your daughter defies her lineage." The Queen's voice was steel. "My daughter is alive because of him." "Alive," the envoy replied, "but corrupted. His influence will spread. Today, we end it." At his signal, soldiers marched forward, weapons glowing. But before they could take another step, a soft humming filled the hall. It started low and gentle, almost like a whisper. Then it grew stronger, warmer, echoing through the entire palace. Every crystal, every wall, every beam of energy began to vibrate in rhythm with it. Ethan stood at the top of the stairs, unarmed, his voice steady. He wasn't fighting with weapons. He was fighting with sound. Princess Lyra stood beside him, holding his hand. Her own energy flared, silver light swirling around her, blending with his human warmth. Together, their resonance filled the air with something new, something the Zitharons had never felt before. Not power. Not control, harmony. Guards froze mid-step. The Queen's robe fluttered in the rising vibration. The soldiers' weapons dimmed. The energy beams in the hall flickered between blue and gold. The envoy shouted, "Stop him! He's infecting the core!" But it was too late. Ethan's voice reached the very heart of the palace, the ancient stellar core, a crystal that powered the Zitharon world for 1,000 years. The crystal pulsed, reacting not with fear, but with feeling. It began to hum back, a deep ancient tone that matched Ethan's rhythm perfectly. The resonance spread outward, across the city, across the world. Aliens stopped what they were doing and looked up as their walls shimmered. They felt something inside their minds, warmth, memory, kindness. They didn't understand it, but it made them feel alive. In the hall, Lyra's eyes glowed bright silver. "Do you feel it?" she whispered to the council. "This is not control. This is connection." Ethan's humming softened into words, simple and honest. "You built walls of silence, but silence breaks. Feel again, and remember what peace sounds like." The Queen covered her mouth, tears streaming down her face. For centuries, their people had lived without emotion, believing it made them weak. But now she could feel every heartbeat in the room. Every soul shaking awake, the envoy screamed in rage. "He's destroying our way of life!" He raised his weapon, but the Queen stepped in front of him. "You're wrong," she said. "He's saving it." She turned to Ethan. "Finish it, human." "Let them hear," Ethan nodded. His voice rose one last time, strong and full of life. Lyra joined him, her light spiraling upward. Together their voices merged, alien and human sound and energy, forming one perfect note that burst into the sky. The warships above the palace stopped firing. Their power cores quieted, their lights dimmed. Across Zitharon, from the lowest worker to the highest scholar, everyone heard the same thing. A sound that wasn't science or magic. It was hope. When the light faded, Ethan fell to one knee, exhausted. Lyra caught him, holding him close. The palace was silent again, but it wasn't the same kind of silence anymore. It was peaceful and alive, full of heartbeats. The Queen stepped forward. "What you've done today," she said softly, "has changed us forever." Ethan smiled weakly. "Guess I just wanted everyone to get a good night's sleep." Lyra laughed through her tears. "And you gave us something more. You made us feel." Weeks later, peace returned to Zitharon. The council disbanded, realizing emotion was not weakness. It was balance. Music filled the markets for the first time in history. And every night when the stars rose, the people of Zitharon hummed softly. remembering the human who taught them what feeling meant. In the royal gardens, Ethan sat under the glowing trees, fixing a string on the alien guitar. Lyra walked beside him, her crown shining faintly. "The people call you the voice of the stars now." He smiled. "I still prefer Janitor," she laughed softly. "Then let the stars be your floor and the universe your hall." He looked up at her, his eyes gentle. "And you, princess, and will you still need my songs to sleep?" She smiled, leaning close. "No, but I'll always need you to sing them anyway." That night, as the twin moons rose over Zitharon, Ethan hummed once more, not out of duty, but out of love. And for the first time in history, the stars themselves seemed to hum back, the end, final message. Sometimes the smallest human acts, a song, a voice, a simple kindness, can change entire worlds. You don't need power to be powerful, just a heart that dares to care,